Imagine it is the 1600s and you are running a massive shipping empire, sailing across the globe to trade gold, porcelain, spices, and silk. Outfitting just a single one of these voyages meant securing massive amounts of food, paying an experienced crew, and risking the entire investment to sudden storms or pirates. It was a ruinously expensive operation. To keep a business growing, merchants needed to fund even grander fleets. But doing that entirely alone meant staking their entire personal fortune and risking total bankruptcy every time a ship left the port. Ambition at that scale cannot survive in a vacuum. The merchants needed an entirely new mechanism to pull in outside money to absorb those heavy financial blows. So they turned to private citizens. They asked locals to invest their own personal cash to support the trip, offering them a fractional share of the ship's future profits in return. This document is a ledger from the Dutch East India Company. By selling these shares to the public in local coffee houses and shipping ports, as seen in these entries dating back to 1606, they invented the world's first stock market. As the math of shared risk proved successful, that simple coffeehouse concept rapidly scaled up. Soon, cities required massive, dedicated physical exchanges just to handle the sheer volume of paper certificates changing hands. Today, that exact same system operates on a massive global scale, driving entire complex industries, 24-hour television networks, and dedicated career paths. Yet, beneath the flashing digital screens and high-speed algorithms, the stock market remains a 400-year-old solution for distributing risk and sharing the reward. Let's bring this into the modern era. Imagine you start a local coffee shop. It is incredibly successful, but opening a dozen new locations requires cash you simply don't have. First, you take your business plan to large institutional investors. If they review your numbers and believe in your idea, they provide the baseline funding to sponsor your entry into the public market. That transition is called an initial public offering, or IPO. This is the exact mechanism that takes your private business and lists it on the public exchange for anyone to buy into. This diagram shows how your company's total corporate ownership is split into individual public shares. When a person buys one of these pieces, they are legally purchasing a fraction of equity in your business. An IPO marks a permanent shift in how a business is structured. It transforms a closely held private idea into a publicly owned commodity. You take that new investment capital and put it straight to work, rapidly expanding your coffee shop into a thriving multi-location franchise. As buyers watch your brand succeed and profits roll in, more people want to participate. The public demand to own a piece of your business surges. This chart illustrates the direct mathematical relationship. With limited shares available, rising demand outpacing supply forces the cost of an individual share upward. That upward movement increases early investor wealth, while simultaneously ballooning the overall market valuation of the coffee company. A rising stock price is a real-time, mathematical measurement of how much the public believes in your future potential. But the market operates like a giant seesaw, heavily influenced by negative sentiment, and things can easily go in the opposite direction. If investors start to worry that your company's value is going to decline, fear takes over. They will immediately try to dump their shares to lock in profits before the losses hit. As more people rush to the exits, demand plummets. This cascading sell-off triggers a severe drop in the share price, wiping out massive amounts of financial value in a matter of hours. Traders react to tangible forces, shifting labor costs, material spikes, or disruptive technology. Abstract noise, like bad publicity or leadership changes, also fuels erratic swings. A market crash rarely starts with a massive failure of the business itself. It usually happens because human confidence rapidly and contagiously evaporates. This deeply unpredictable cycle of confidence and panic is the engine behind both massive economic booms and devastating financial crises. Because those short-term daily fluctuations are impossible to predict, the overwhelming consensus among financial experts advises against trying to time the market to make quick cash. This graph illustrates that reality. While the day-to-day noise is a chaotic, jagged line, zooming out to a multi-decade timeline reveals that reliable, long-term investing mathematically outperforms short-term day trading. Generating wealth in the stock market doesn't come from predicting the future. It comes from having the discipline to outlast temporary emotional noise. The internet has removed historical barriers to entry. Today, an individual with a smartphone has the same access to trading as a massive institutional firm. Educating yourself on how these mechanisms operate allows you to actively back the businesses you believe in, while steadily building your own financial independence. If this breakdown helped you make sense of the stock market, hit that subscribe button right now to keep upgrading your financial literacy every single week. And to see how playing a musical instrument acts as a complete full-body workout for your brain, click the video right here on your screen. The stock market is a complex machine, but understanding how its gears turn is the very first step to mastering it. Stay curious.